Hello there, this is Warhammer Pilot Eric. Welcome back to our Let's Play of Battletech by Harebrained Schemes and Paradox Studios. We have gotten through the initial prologue, and we are now our own mercenary company. So we are going to go ahead. Let's make first, we're going to customize our reputations. That's the heraldry. Okay. It is the heraldry. Okay. We're actually going to call ourselves Devil's Brigade. I think that's how it's spelled. So, gonna update our colors. Yes. That's not bad. I think I like that the best. Okay. And now let's see if we can find a good crest for us. That's not too bad. That one's also kind of good. So, as I'm looking through these, I did have somebody reach out, and they were wondering, because I had made a comment in one of my first videos about how the Warhammer was my favorite mech, dear to my heart, and all that. And they were curious. So, I wanted to tell you why. So, when I first got into Battletech as tabletop wargaming back, I want to say either 87 or 88, the box set of the game was what I got, and it had the rules and some map sheets you could use. And then for the mechs, they had little cardboard standees to use. So that's what I used. On the cover of the box was a picture of the Warhammer. And it's sort of what attracted me to the game, because I was like, ooh, I really like that artwork. And then it was a case of I met friends at the local game store who were playing it, and I got involved with them. And I was playing it, and one of them bought me my first actual miniature for the game, which was a miniature of the Warhammer battle mech. So it was the first miniature I ever painted. Sadly, I no longer have it. The paint job wasn't very good as compared to where I am with painting miniatures nowadays, but it was my first one. And it was the one my main character for the Battletech games that we played, it was his main mech that he piloted for a long time. So, now that I've customized my mercenary company to, uh, I've customized its name and its colors and our logo. Let's sort of go over here the sort of mechanics of what we have available. So, going back to the Leopard screen, this is our Leopard, our dropship. On this screen, we have our funds. We have the task timeline, which currently has 2 items on it. Because Decker, in our last mission, did unfortunately take a headshot and thus was wounded, he is currently out of action healing for 27 days. Then our next financial report is due up in 30 days, and that is when we pay salaries, pay for our loan on the Leopard. Here, let's go look at finances here since I'm talking about it. So, in a month, we're going to be paying $130,000 for our bank loan on the Leopard, and then maintenance of the 5 battle mechs that we have: the Blackjack, the Vindicator, the Shadowhawk, the Spider, and a Locust. And then we also have going to be paying out $104,500 basically in salaries to these battle mech pilots. Our financial reports are every 30 days. This shows here how much in the finances, how much per month, so $234,500 credits, or C-bills as they're called in the setting. So $234,500 C-bills per month is what we're currently spending, and we have enough funds in our account to last us 4 months. That's what these little white check or boxes here in the finances are. Each white box represents a month of operating solvency. Below that we have our morale, and the morale is currently steady. As it goes up, we have certain bonuses. We can earn more of the things that allow us to do precise shots and stuff like that. With higher morale, we start with more of that. We earn more while out there, that sort of thing. Going back to the Leopard screen, you will also see on the left there, below our morale, we have the number of mech techs we have, or our mech tech, I should say, our mech tech value, excuse me, which is 4. So the higher that number is, the quicker they can do repairs to get through any damages there are. Next to that is our medical rating. The higher that is, the quicker people heal. Also on this screen, we have the timeline in the center bottom. The timeline, which is currently paused, that's the play button, which will start advancing our game. Then on the lower right is our current location, which is Urakunin. They are not with any house, so they're just a local government. There's a hiring hall, which has mech pilots we can maybe recruit if we were interested. We have 8 berths currently, and 4 of those are filled. The other option here is the store, which allows us to get partial mech salvage. 3 parts of any particular mech allows us to assemble a version of that mech. Sometimes these stores will have full mechs in them. Those are very expensive because you can even see the partial the partial salvage pieces are pretty expensive. And then they have weapons you can buy. You'll notice some of these will have a plus after them. That means it's a it's a model that has upgrades that give certain benefits. I believe you can have up to 2 pluses on any particular piece of equipment. So and then you have other weapons like a PPC available at this particular store. An autocannon, the UCA, which is an ultra autocannon. Heat sinks, jump jets, ammo of various different types. And you can also sell excess things here. We're not going to sell anything quite yet, since we are just starting off at the game. But I do tend to keep things limited supply, like supplies of things we need, sell off things we don't need, just for the cash to have longer operating or to buy things that we're going to want. Now, while in the store, you can click on a category, all, just weapons, just ammo, just equipment, or just mechs. And like, you also have here, you can show ballistic weapons only, energy weapons only, missile weapons only, support weapons only, jump jets only, heat sinks only, upgrades only. So you can also get upgrades. Upgrades are things that will allow you to punch harder, or maybe run faster, or will better protect your cockpit against taking a headshot, or extending your range for spotting enemies and targeting them and such things. So that, and then down on the left, you have the different sections of the Leopard. You have the main Leopard screen, which is the hiring hall and store, so shortcuts there. In the command center, you can go to contracts, which are any available contracts that are out there that we could take. Or you can speak to Darius. The barracks is where you can go to the mech warriors, and if they've earned any experience points, or enough experience points, let's go ahead and show that. So, as you can see, each one, you have experience points, and you can spend that XP on different things. So, Lucifer currently has 2,800 XP. If I spent 1,600 of it, I could go ahead and give Lucifer multi-target, which I'm totally going to do because multi-target is awesome. And then let's see about upping his piloting by 1 and his tactics by 1. That leaves us Only 400 XP, not enough to buy anything else, but that stays us out. It gives us, if you look at our ratings here, because he's highlighted there sort of in the middle, our, you know, that's going to make our gunnery 5 and everything else 3s. So if we confirm that, it's asking if we want to confirm.
Training confirmed, Commander.
So now he is showing as a 5-3-3-3. 5 gun, 5 piloting, 5 or 5 gun, 3 piloting, 3 guts, and 3 tactics. So let's go ahead, and once you've earned enough, you definitely are wanting to upgrade your characters. The more they upgrade, while they
standing by.
Like here, you'll see Behemoth is currently, 26,600 C bills a month. As you increase her abilities, she will become more expensive. Because as they get better, they're obviously going to want to get paid more. She currently has Bulwark, which can give passive cover in guarded states. And when guarded and cover are both there, you get 60% damage reduction. So, we have 1,000. I think I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to go ahead. Because if I put it into her third dot of tactics, which doesn't really net her anything at that point. Whereas this is just going to go ahead and up her. Well, if I clicked on it, as you see, it's not really indicating anything. So let's reset that. If I put 900 of it here, it's increasing it is going to give us a plus 7.5 base weapon hit chance. So a better chance to hit. So these are your primary skills. These are your secondary skills. Each character can only have 2 primary skills. So as you level up, you're going to want to figure out what they're doing, and what they're doing will determine their specialization. Like a defender here, they're able to sort of tank. They sort of are a tank. But you're going to want to plot out the various things like multi-targeting, sensor lock is down here, sure footing, get some passive evasion, and then after you have your 2 primaries picked, those will limit you to, in whichever skill you have your 2 primaries in, will limit where you can get 1 secondary. So like, if with Behemoth I eventually get multi-targeting for her as well, I won't be able to get anything in piloting other than increasing her abilities, and nothing in tactics, which will increase her abilities. But I would then be able to choose between Breaching Shot, which is where if you attack with a single weapon, you ignore cover and guarded. So that's not bad. Or Guts, a coolant vent, which will remove 50 extra heat this round. Unfortunately, for the next 3 rounds, you gain an extra 8 heat each round because you vented your coolant. But yeah, I think early on, getting our pilots better chance to hit, or I should say it was at plus 0.75. It's now a plus 10 base weapon hit. So we increased it by 2.5% chance to hit. Let's confirm this.
Training complete.
Now, Dexter, even though he is injured and out of, he's healing and not able to go on combat missions for the next 27 days, we can still spend his XP. Now, Decker is always a bit of a light mech style pilot. I always like giving. I want to give, so I'm going to give him sensor lock since he's been piloting a spider. Let's give him sensor lock, because what this means is he can, in his lighter mech, which is more squishy, he can stand back, lock sensors on a particular target, which now means even if we don't have direct line of sight from our other mechs, we now have the ability to do indirect fire, or it puts them into range enough where we can direct fire if we have weapons that have that sort of range. So that's good. That took 1,600 of what he had, which leaves 600, which is not enough to get anything else, but that's going to be good. That gives us somebody who has sensor lock.
Mech warrior training complete.
Okay. And then
What
glitch.
can I do for you?
Well, glitch. We're gonna look here. You have 1,000 XP. I can increase her piloting or her guts. Let's go ahead and get piloting up. That will increase our melee hit chance. So she has to go up and punch something or curb stomp a vehicle. I have a better chance of doing that.
Training confirmed, Commander.
I already trained Lucifer.
Yes,
And then
Commander.
the pilot we haven't seen yet is Medusa here. He is a he pilots normally the Locust, but you can put your pilots in any of your mechs. I like to sort of train him as a backup to Decker, so I'm going to go 900 into tactics. Unfortunately, that's not enough to get a sensor lock for him, but I could get either guts, which will give him a 4th health tick, but I think I'll just go ahead and get the base chance to hit with his weapons.
Training complete.
So there we go. And that's our mech warriors currently trained up. The next part of the ship is the mech bay, and we have the bays here, which we have our mechs. This red sort of stripey behind it indicates that it is in need of repair. So we'll take care of that. But we have 6 bays. We currently have 5 mechs. And the mechs will have ratings of firepower, heat efficiency, movement, average range, durability, and melee. And each mech is slightly different. So we have that. And you can see the mech here. The picture changes when you click on it to show you what the mech looks like. Although locusts are very small, so it is mostly hidden behind this whole central uh, panel. So, one, I believe the damage done to our mech is just something that can just be straight up repaired without us having to go and refit. It's just internal structure. No weapons or anything like that have to be replaced. That's going to cost us 12,900 C-bills. Take 4 days. Yes, we want to get that working. So, now in our timeline, you see that the Blackjack is in work for 4 days. Let's look at the other thing we can do here is we could change the paint patterns. So we can look through the various paints patterns that are available to see if we see one we like for our particular mech. I kind of like pattern 5 on the Vindicator. Ooh, that one's not bad either. 6 or 5. I think I'm actually going to go with 6. So that's our paint scheme. And I'm going to go into refit just to sort of show you what it looks like. And this is the mech. So from here, you can drop and drag components out to put new components in, add components. You have 45 tons. Each component, like this PPC, has a tonnage. So the PPC is 7 tons, takes up 3 slots, generates 35 heat. Very long range. Each location will have a rating that shows you how many ballistic weapons can go in there, how many energy weapons could go in that area, how many missile weapons, and how many support weapons. Support weapons being small lasers or machine guns. So in the right arm, as you can see, it could technically have 2 energy weapons, but it has the PPC in it, so that's probably good enough. If we wanted, like, we could move this medium laser over into the arm, so it's not in the head. That was in case we had an upgrade that we wanted to put into the head slot that gave extra range, sensor range, or as I said, protected it or something like that. But you can move heat sinks around. You can move around where your jump jets go. This up here, you will see how many ballistic under the tonnage. You will see that it can have 0 ballistics, up to 5 energy, 1 missile weapon, and up 2 support weapons. It could also have 4 jump jets. And currently has 4 out of 4 jump jets. You can also play around with the armor on each section to see about changing the armor up to make certain areas better protected, that sort of thing. So you have some good customization options here. So let's go ahead and revert. Even though I put things back, let's go ahead and revert changes and exit out of here. So that gives you an example of how you can modify your mechs. Because I was a Kickstart backer, I actually have a variant look for the Shadowhawk called the Umbra Shadowhawk. I actually like it, so that's what I'm going to change my Shadowhawk to. It doesn't have different paint variants. It's just the Umbra has its own look and specific paint scheme, but I'm fine with that. And for the spider, just going to find a paint scheme that I like. You know what? I actually like pattern 1. Okay, so that's our mechs. You can also talk to Yang, who is our chief mech tech. And then in navigation, you can look at the star map or talk to Sumeri, who is our navigator. The star map, this little update will give us information. You can filter by certain aspects. Currently, we can only travel in this highlighted area. The banks have put a hold on us that don't allow us to escape this area currently until we have paid off the loans on our Leopard. Of course, by not being able to travel outside of this area, it limits what sort of jobs we have, so the likelihood that we're able to pay off the loans on our Leopard are low. The banks are bastards. But normally you can select, and if you wanted to just travel someplace specific, you can do that. However, and we will go ahead and do that as our last thing for this video, as we are getting close to the time that we're going to want to wrap things up for this video, even though nothing exciting has happened. I just wanted to give you a rundown of all this. So we have one available contract at the moment. Seek and Destroy. It is a travel contract that is indicated by the little world with the arrow next to it. Max Pay is the max amount of payment we can get out of it. Max Salvage is 2/11. So 2/11 means we would get 2 priority salvage, which means before the people who are hiring us, which in this case is the planetary government, gets to pick any of the salvage. We get to pick 2 salvage items first. Then the government gets to pick until there are enough items that we get a total of 11 pieces of salvage. The skulls are the difficulty. It can go from, like this, a half skull, all the way up to 5 skulls. Other information, as you can see, this is going to do nothing for our reputation. It is a battle type mission. It's in a polar biome, which means our mechs will cool a little easier, so we can fire weapons more often. You know, controlling our heat buildup is going to be easier. It's going to take us 12 days to get there. This contract includes travel to Bellerophon, 12 days. Since it includes the travel, that means we don't have to pay for the travel directly. The information we have on the contract is to seek and destroy. Our intelligence confirms that there is a lance of pirate military units operating on Bellerophon within a region we control, we being the planetary government that's wanting to hire us. All local government operations are at risk as long as this lance is allowed to move unimpeded. Hunt down the enemy lance and eliminate it. And then Darius is putting in his comments that this is a straightforward battle. Fighting a military lance in a backwater like this should be no challenge at all. So, uh, let us go ahead to our negotiate screen. And this is where we can negotiate the terms of the contract. So it's currently set at 115,800 C-bills payout, and one priority salvage with it, and then a total of 7. This isn't really going to do anything for our reputation because planetary government reputations don't really apply here. It is going to drop our reputation with the local pirate organizations. You can actually take on missions from the pirate organizations and get in good with them if you so want. But these are adjustable. We could take more money for more salvage, but less payout. Or we could increase our payout and get less salvage, including 0 priority and only 3 random pieces of salvage left over after the planetary government has picked. Which just means it's randomized. You can get good stuff, you can get bad stuff, but it's story-wise what is being left over for you. I'm going to... Now you can do things like... I thought you could do things like this and drop... I guess with this one you can't. Maybe it's only for contracts where you could gain reputation. So, like if we were working for one of the houses, we could pick a little higher pay, which would leave us at 1/5 for a balanced contract, but we could, on those contracts, drop it down to the 0.3. So we're not getting as much as we could out of this contract, which means our reputation with them will go up higher, which means better contracts from them, all that sort of stuff. Early on, as much as salvage is nice, I'm going to go at this because I want to build up our account first before we start worrying. Once our account is high enough, then we can really start worrying about bringing in the salvage. So let's go ahead and accept that.
Bio command.
Calculating escape velocity.
And we begin our travels to Bellaperon.
Docking sequence commencing.
So this is a jump ship. We connect to that, and it jumps us to another system.
That job you asked for, Commander.
That's telling us that our Blackjack is back in service. So you can see we have 8 days still to go to Bellaferon. Decker is still out for another 23 days, and 26 days left till our financial. So I'm going to go ahead and get us to Bellaferon. And here the jump ship is charging. So the way space travel works in the Battletech setting, we'll get to this in a second, is ships have jump capabilities and are able to jump from systems to systems. Sometimes you have to jump through multiple systems to get to your destination. And you have these large jump ships which are completely neutral, and they sit out at sort of, each one has their own sort of designated spot out in the outer reaches of any particular solar system. so they're not likely to interfere with each other or any other sort of traffic in the system. And you would fly out to them, connect to them, and then get jumped to your system. Or get jumped to a system where you would disconnect from them, fly to another jump ship, connect, depending on the routes and all that sort of stuff. So, we have an event here. Shakedown. You're on the Leopard's Bridge with Sumeri, Yang, and Darius for the daily staff briefing. Darius says, we've received 3 messages from the banks. Loan sharks, Sumeria cuts in. From the people who are financing us, Darius continues. They're considering rewriting the terms of our loans, so it'll be easier to seize the ship if we miss a payment. As usual, they're only doing this because they believe we can't fight it in court. So, we have 3 options here. We can sweet talk the banks, we can ignore the message, or we can educate the banks about their mistake. I'm feeling like, hey, we had a signed loan agreement with you. You don't get to just rewrite those terms because we have a signed agreement. So I'm going to educate the bank about their mistake. I'll deal with it, you say. Later, you record a response. In it, you sternly remind your lien holders that as financial institutions operating on Detroit 3, they must abide by local contract law. You even cite the relevant sections of legal code from memory. Then you point out that, as you've kept records of all payments and correspondence concerning the loans, you will be able to demonstrate in court that their proposed revisions to the agreed-upon terms would represent such a gross violation of the law that you would undoubtedly be awarded a second dropship at the bank's expense. That would be awesome. Once the camera is off, Sumeri says, there's no way they push you on this. Too bad. I'd like to see the loan sharks grovel. Your company has gained the following tags. Loan status fair. So, I'm guessing you can have one of 2 loan statuses, fair or unfair. So we have fair, which means the banks are going to treat us fairly about our things. So we will continue. We are 3 days out from Belferon. Most of the travel time is getting from the jump ships into the system.
We've entered orbit, Commander.
So once we arrive at a location where we have a contract, Darius will ask us if we are ready to proceed with our current contract. If we do, we jump immediately into that. If not, we click Not Yet. So I'm going to go ahead and click Not Yet because this is where I'm going to go ahead and put in a cut. I very much want to thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please click that like button. It will help bring others to the channel for them to watch. If you also want to, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so you can be alerted when I have uploaded other videos. Battletech Let's Play videos will be going up on Tuesdays. Our other Let's Plays currently are Valheim, which will get uploaded on Thursdays, and Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which will get uploaded on Sundays. Thank you all for watching. You all have a good evening.